Knowledge from nowhere. Only a very few people are able to clearly read information from the field of knowledge. Most people receive only faint echoes, passing premonitions, or vague insights. Scientists and artists may experience sudden flashes of inspiration after spending long days or even years in deep contemplation. Why is it so hard to discover something truly new? Because it's much easier for your mind to tune into sectors of reality that have already been realized in the space of variations. Something fundamentally new always lies in the unrealized sectors. But how do we access them? That, for now, remains beyond our grasp. The soul and mind. When familiar solutions fail, the subconscious somehow tunes into unrealized sectors. This information doesn't come wrapped in familiar symbols or words. That's why it feels vague and unclear to the conscious mind. But if the brain manages to grasp the essence of this information, a sudden insight or enlightenment occurs. There are many contradictions in how the mind and subconscious work together. For simplicity, we'll use these terms. Mind for everything related to consciousness, soul for everything related to the subconscious. If the mind could fully understand the soul, humans would already have direct access to the field of information, and our civilization would be far more advanced. But the mind doesn't just fail to understand, it doesn't even try to listen. The mind is always distracted, either by the external world or by its endless stream of thoughts and emotions. This inner chatter never stops. The mind thinks in terms of categories, labels, words, concepts, diagrams, and rules. It tries to sort everything into neatly labeled boxes. The mind labels everything it knows. The sky is blue, water is wet, birds fly, tigers are dangerous. When information from unrealized sectors has no label, the mind simply can't process it. It feels like vague, incomprehensible knowledge. If the mind can eventually label it or explain it through old concepts, a discovery is made. But it's always hard to explain something truly new. Imagine a person hearing music for the first time. Music is simply information in the form of sound. The mind knows it's experiencing something but doesn't understand it. There's no word or category for it yet. Understanding comes later, when the person hears music again and again, learns about instruments, musicians, and songs. At first, though, it's a mystery. The mind knows it's experiencing something real, but can't identify it. Try explaining to a small child that milk is white. The child might ask, "What is white?" "It's a color." "What is a color?" "It's a property of objects." "What's a property?" "What's an object?" And so on forever. It's easier to show the child objects of different colors until the mind figures out what color means. This is how the mind learns, by assigning labels and thinking in words. But the soul doesn't use words or labels. It feels and it knows. As the mind grew more focused on abstract thinking, its connection to the soul weakened. The soul doesn't think, it doesn't speak, it simply feels and knows. When the mind is too busy with thoughts, it drowns out the quiet signals from the soul. But when the mind's control weakens, intuitive knowledge can break through. This appears as a vague premonition, also called the inner voice. It's sometimes called the rustling of the morning stars. A voice without words, thought without thoughts, a sound without volume. You just feel something, without thinking. Everyone has experienced this. You suddenly know that someone is about to arrive, or that something is about to happen, without knowing how you know. But usually the mind drowns this out with its constant thinking. If we could stop our thoughts, even briefly, and simply be present in silence, we could hear that subtle inner voice again. The soul can provide answers to many questions, if only we listen. Teaching the soul to tune itself to unrealized sectors and making the mind listen is not easy. But you can start small. The soul has two distinct feelings. Inner comfort, inner discomfort. The mind interprets these as I feel good or I feel bad, I'm confident or I'm worried, I like this or I don't like this. Every decision we make shifts us through the space of variations, manifesting different life outcomes. The soul can somehow sense the approaching sectors before they manifest. It knows whether the path ahead holds something good or bad. The soul tries to signal this through feelings of calm or unease. However, the mind often ignores these subtle signals, trapped by external distractions and rational thinking. Logic doesn't always lead to the right solution, but the soul doesn't think, it simply knows. Here's a simple practice. When facing a decision, pause and check in with yourself. Ask your overseer to pay attention to your inner state. Silence your mind briefly and ask, do I feel good or bad about this option? Then consider another option and ask again. If you get no clear answer, it means your mind is still too distracted. Practice regularly to strengthen this inner listening. Grateful for your presence here. If the message spoke to you, consider liking and subscribing for more journeys into hidden knowledge. Now you know what to expect from the path ahead, whether or not you can act on it immediately.